Welcome to Open Net presented by APM Music. I'm your host, Luke. I don't know why I got this power to do this, but here we are, and we are so excited to start a match 5 this whole long week, and we actually have a big kind of show about way too early playoffs. And joining me tonight, I could not be more excited to work with Term and Bear. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm living the dream, as we say. It's a great week for MLE coming off a bye week. We have 6 consecutive weeks of action coming up to get ready for playoffs. It's going to be really exciting as we come down this final stretch.
Absolutely. Same as him, doing great. And before we go any further, I wanted to go ahead and say Jots all the way. I felt like it was necessary to go ahead and get out of my system for the first
Oh,
time
of
in
course,
the
of course.
100. You know,
Of course, everyone's got a representative team. Both Term and Bear were like, "Oh, I got jerseys to wear. I don't have a jersey. I don't own one. I'm sorry, Chad. I don't represent, I guess." But this whole week is kind of about looking at playoffs and kind of getting y'all introduced of how the format's going to look, what kind of matches we'll see based off the current standings, and kind of give our little fun pokes on who we think, looking at right now, will make that run to the top and win that coveted championship that lots of players have been looking for such a long time. But before we do that, we want to get into match 5. It's match 5 this upcoming week, kind of like a big week outside of your division finally. And we have some big matches coming up. And let's start off with FL. Bear, what do you got for us?
all right. So first of all, Spartans Hurricanes twos. I am so excited for this. My what I'm thinking the lineup for twos are going to be is going to be Bowler and potentially Drew Smith. Bowler's an 8.5. Drew Smith is a 9. And then on the Hurricane side, I think they'll probably put Preston and Sneak up there. That is going to be a match. Sneak's a 10. Preston's a 7.5. The ranks there are so close to each other. It's bound to be a good one. And then, for threes, we've got Rhinos and Elite. That's always bound to be a good one. Elite has Colts Cola, the Piggy Buggy. I'm sure that those are going to be their two main in the three, as well as probably I'd say Slipstream as a 5.5, but he's probably the most solid 5.5 I've ever met in my life. Against Rhinos, they'll probably have Dark Hero play in, Wasabi as always, and probably Soupy, and that same kind of rank again, and it's going to be a match that you're just going to have to watch out for sure.
Absolutely. What about AL Term? What you got for me? Lay it down. What you got to look forward to?
AL, we got a bunch of great matchups this week, but for twos, I think it's highlighted by Sabres versus Ducks. The Ducks are the best team in twos in all of MLE versus a 10-10 team in the Sabres who are 1-3 in series played so far. The Sabres need the Sabres need this win so they could stay in the playoff hunt, and not only stay in the playoff hunt, so they can also stay in the hunt with the tiebreaker that is series victories and series record. You don't want to fall to 1-4 in your first 5 games and feel like you have to win every series from there on out. So I think this is a must win for the Sabres this week against a very, very solid Ducks team. When it comes to threes, I think the Outlaws and the Bulls is going to be a huge series. Both teams are 10-10. Both teams need this win in order to stay in the playoff hunt. They're both on the edge of it right now. But if they get the wins this week, they'll be in it, and preferably a big win. Of course, you want to get the other teams out of the picture while you can. So this is a big series for both of them.
Absolutely. I mean, the big thing, like when you look at, I know, Term, you've been in the league for a long time, especially as a GM, like what's kind of like that mentality when you're watching your teams when they have a slow start? Like we see, like you kind of said in one of these series, teams start, Spectre 10-10, not a great start, but like what's kind of like, do you think it's really possible for these teams to have the ability to turn around and kind of make up a season where they end up making it to the top of the standings, even though they're at a neutral record right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of time for teams to turn around, and there's always roster turnover as the season goes on. You have rank outs, you have teams signing new players, just a boatload of transactions that happen throughout the season that can change and shift a course for a team as the season goes on. And you just hope that it happens. You hope that you line your plays up and your slot usages up well throughout the season so you could play your best players at the end in the games that matter the most. So there is a lot of room for teams to get better as the season improves. Your standings right now will not equal the standings at the end of the season. You certainly want to get out to a good start, but it isn't necessary to have a great outcome.
Absolutely. And I think another thing kind of like to put on it is like the rank outs as well. You know, like Bear, you've probably seen a lot of guys from FL rank out in the AL and probably made a big impact so far at the start of like, you know, this later part of the season where a lot of them are going to now have to make impacts on AL like they did in FL. So, I mean, hopefully those you've seen a couple guys in FL who you're like, oh, they'll be fine. They're going to kill it, you know, in AL themselves.
Yeah, I know definitely. I've got one on my team. It's your boy Chad. Shout out to him. He's gonna conquer FL. You know, he's an 8 right now, but he plays like a 10. So he's only bound to go up, but I don't think I'm hoping he doesn't rank out this season because I need him to play in playoffs. But I also know that, you know, we've got I think a 1 or 2 Tensiles on our team that I'm worried is gonna pop up to AL before I get to use them. You know, it's definitely something that any FL captain has to worry about, making sure that their player's not gone.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's now move on to CL term. What do you got for us for CL? This wait, you just said CL.
No, I just
No,
said
you did
AL.
not. No, you did
I just
AL. Okay,
said
thank
AL.
you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna mess this host thing up too early. I promise y'all. Yeah. What do you got for us for CL term?
It's okay. Yeah, for CL2s, I got the Pandas and the Spectre. The Pandas are 13-7. They're doing well in Orange Conference, currently have the 3rd seed. But the Spectre are a different story. They're 10-10, not a bad record, but that's last in their division right now. They're 2 games behind the division leaders, but at 10-10, they are last in their division. They need a win against a good Panda squad to keep up with the rest of the division, stay in the wild card race. So I think that will be a really interesting matchup for 2s. For 3s, we got the Foxes and the Hive. You got a 14-6 Foxes team against a 16-4 Hive team. 2 of the best teams in CL going head to head. It's going to be a great matchup.
Absolutely. You know, you get kind of further down the season, as you say, you know, you're in the bottom of it. Luckily, they're in a very weak division. We kind of looked at it when we were looking, making our playoff brackets and pick'ems. And a big one was a few of the divisions, they had 2-game differences, and you got to be able to make the most of it. But moving on to ML, I kind of looked more for a top heavy this week. I really thought that there are some matchups that are out of division matchups that could literally decide whether you have that 1 seed, which when we go over, we'll give you a first round bye where you avoid the play-in round. And that is so valuable, which leads me into my 2 series, which is the Wizards versus the Shadow, both competing for that Orange Conference 1 seed right now. They're both doing very well in their divisions, and they're both very close off. I mean, their records are up. They are bound around 2 games off, 3 games off. And literally, if you win this series 5-0 for the Shadow, you overtake the Wizards for that 1 spot, depending on how other results vary. But if you get a 5-0, you flip the tables, and now you're in control of really your whole destiny. And it's a big thing to look forward to. And for 3s, on the other hand, I have the Sabres versus the Ducks, another one where it's out of division, but both teams are competing for those lower end spots, especially the Ducks. The Sabres. The Sabres are the 1 seed, the Ducks are the lower seed, and they're really kind of compete to see who can kind of make that fighting effort. Because again, if you get knocked out of your division leader spot, which we see teams do, I mean, a lot of 5 seeds are very close and cutthroat when you get to the end of the season. If you get knocked out of the division leader, you want to have a good enough record where you can kind of feel comfortable going and get a free spot into the play-in round. And it's a big thing to look forward to, and I'm excited to see how those matchups go because you can't take your foot off the gas when you're the 1 seed. You just can't do it. Even there's no week you just play a bad lineup and give up that seed. It's just so wanted with how valuable and what you get out of it.
Yeah, you mentioned getting the 1 seed is a really valuable thing in MLE. Getting to skip past a whole round of playoffs is extremely valuable. There are upsets that happen all the time in MLE, and one that you just mentioned is the difference between being a wild card team and a division winner. And a lot of times we see a 5 seed, a play-in team, a 5 seed, beat a division winner and move on to the conference semifinals. Because the weaker division winners have to play the best team to get a play-in spot. So you want to win the division, But at the same time, if you have a good record and you don't win your division, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, great example back when you were my GM and my team won it. We were a 5 seed going into playoffs because we didn't win our division. But that doesn't matter. I mean, you can make a run. I mean, especially in lower leagues. I was looking at earlier. I mean, the last couple seasons, the last time a 1 seed has won it outside of PL, it's very low odds to win like the whole shebang and really make a big run out of it. So I mean, being able to have the opportunity to make playoffs, that's where your top lineup has to shine. And if you have the star players who can do it, it's very likely. But let's get into our final set. It is on PL. They have definitely more of an interesting matchups because again they don't do as much. They do cross conference play as well. The big ones I'm actually excited for, the Hurricanes Spartans are playing. They're the bottom two. They're the 2 teams outside of playoffs right now for PL, and they're only 2 games outside of that third spot to get in, and they're going to have to play against each other really to knock one out and really make it hard for them to get back into contention. And the other one will kind of boost themselves up to that 3 spot, competing with the team that's up there at the moment. And then for threes, it is the Hive versus the Blizzard. It is the top 2 dogs for the Blue Conference. I mean, I think it's a matchup that I think the winner of that series, when we get to playoffs, will win that respective leagues. I think those 2 teams are very good and they have a great top 3. And what I love about PL this season is it's really the first time since back when PL first started where we really don't know who's going to win it. It's not really just the top 2 teams really are going to be fighting for the whole thing. I really think that any of the 6 teams that qualify will really have a shot for sure.
You're right. It's a lot about roster depth this season in PL and getting a good all-around roster that you could play your best. You could play any lineup and still get victories. And we're seeing that early in the season. Teams having to use players in a smart manner, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out as it goes on.
Exactly. Well, I know y'all are excited. I mean, Bear literally had to go find his Jets jersey because he was so excited about this next segment. We are so excited to talk about it. It's our way too soon playoff projections. Way too late. I mean, there's only been 4 series played in both modes. I mean, the standings could change so much in the next 6 weeks that we have left. And I cannot wait. I'm so excited to get into it. I know we've been working on our brackets all day today and yesterday, and it's been really hard for us to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to show y'all basically how it all works. But first, let's talk about how the structure of it will understand. Basically, playoffs is basically split up into 4 separate rounds. It starts with the play-ins where the top 7 teams from each conference will qualify. The first seed will automatically get a bye. This is why me and Terminally were talking about the value of that 1 seed. And then the 2 will have to play the 7, the 3 will have to play the 6, 4 will have to play the 5, et cetera, et cetera. In the play-in round, winners will go on to the next round. Whoever has the lowest seed will play that number 1 seed, which we do see get upset a lot. I mean, I know a ton of experience where that team, if you're a 7 or a 6 or even the 5, any of them, they go and they upset the number 1 seed because they got all that momentum from being the upset first round. And then from there, we'll go to the quarterfinals. Winners of that will go to the conference final, which will be 4 teams left. And then the winner of those will get have the most amazing feeling of fighting for that championship trophy. I mean, I know, Bear, this is one of your newer seasons, but what's kind of been that introduction of kind of winning a championship for you, at least for FL?
Man, and it's a little bit different with FL because there's not as many teams. There's only 16 teams, I think. But just even thinking about winning, which will happen, Jot's on top, of course. Continue to represent throughout the show. But yeah, it's mind blowing because that means you're the best in your area, which is it's great for any of the leagues. It's just an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. It's a great thing for sure. And, I'm excited. I mean, Term, you've gotten to see multiple of your teams go on and win a championship. And I mean, how does that feel for you when you get to see that kind of feeling?
Well, unfortunately, I only saw one, but it was with this great host right here.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a great feeling to see a team go on and win a championship. They've worked so hard the entire season to get to the point that they did. You'd love to see it pay off for them. And Of course, to win a great case of balls Guarana, it didn't hurt either at the time.
It does not. It does not. I
It
cannot. I
does
can
not.
attest.
It did not hurt. But it's a great feeling. Everyone in this league works so hard. And at the end of the day, it's a lot about having fun. But it still is a competitive league. Everyone wants to go out there and win. So when you finally do, it means a lot.
I know the competitiveness was there when I was like competing in playoffs. I've only been in playoffs once. I was lucky to win it all, but like it's the feeling of like being able to compete at that level is just so exciting, whether you win or not or don't win. And it's just so competitive between these teams. Some of these guys are best friends, and I just watch them like turn to mortal enemies because they have to play each other in the conference finals. It's one of the most amazing feelings. But let's finally get into it. We will start with our FL pick'ems. Basically, we're going to show you all the standings first and basically go into it on that. Hopefully we'll get that showed up in a second. We will. So first we're going to go into FL doubles. I know Bear, I mean, this is your league. I mean, what's really like standing out to you, with these kind of seedings so far?
Man, the seating, something's wrong with the blue conference, I think. Does it look I think it shows Jets to 6, but last I checked, they were, like, number 1, I think, but, other than that little issue that somebody messed up with there, Spartans, I feel they should be higher. They are a very good team on the blue conference. Hurricanes and Express, definitely very good. I think Spartans ranked number 2 is where we're gonna go into playoffs. Hurricanes or sorry, Jets, Spartans, then Hurricanes, then we'll put Express, number 4. That's what we'll be going into FL. And then Orange Conference, Bears. It wouldn't surprise me if Bears end up going a little bit higher on the list. I know Bears are a very good team for the Orange Conference. They are gonna dominate as we go into playoffs.
For sure. And I think FL is kind of cool. You said it yourself. Like a lot of players don't really kind of know a lot about, and there's not a lot of teams. So it's a lot more teams, a lot less teams that get the opportunity to play on playoffs. There is one less, only 6, which does make the format a little more sense. I mean, the first 2 will get a bye, the 3 and the 6 will have to play each other, and the 4 and 5 will have to play each other. So you get a little more sense of a bye and kind of a little more urgency to get top 2. But let's go into our bracket for doubles that I believe was made by Bear himself. And I'm terrified of how it's going to look because he's been talking about it nonstop. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just I don't know what else to say, Bear. I don't have any words.
Well, I definitely screamed at my foundation team to come and look at this. This bracket specifically, by the way. I feel it could not have been a better example of what is going to happen because over on the Orange Conference, Jets are going to beat Jets, are going to be Jets and then get to the championship series. And then on the blue conference, Jets will tie with Jets. Then in an overtime goal, will beat Jets. Then Jets are just going to beat Jets in the second round. And then, who knows who's going to win championship series? It can only be Jets or Jets. I mean, that's where we're left as far as I'm concerned.
From all I see there is the Jets are going to lose 7 times.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Oh.
I just see I just see losing after loss. I don't know. I just see a
Yeah.
lot of losses here.
But that does mean Jets win at least 7 times if they lose 7. So, like, win rate wise, a 50-50 isn't terrible. So I'll take it for my FL doubles team all day long.
If you had to say there's a team that will have the best shot, let's say the Jets, they miraculously don't lose and win at the same time. What's the team that'll be giving the Jets the biggest run for their money?
Well, I hope to see Bears in the
Ooh.
finals because Bears are really good, and it would be a really big challenge for the Jets because obviously we're gonna dominate Blue Conference. Who even cares? But Bears I'm a little worried about them. They have very good players. I hope that some of them rank out before we have to go against them. But if not, then we will have some struggles, and we will face them like a aircraft.
I don't like that because y'all both are like the flying teams. So like I can't really like say anything down to Bear because then Term's gonna just team up and take me on. And I'm not
Hey, we're more of the pilots, you know. We control the jets.
Oh,
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
Let's I think I have more jets in the chat than you do aviators. So
That is
ooh, that's a
let them fight it
that's
out.
challenge.
probably true.
Oh, you're not even gonna try and defend your teammates, your own players. Term, come on,
I see a lot of jets in the chat, so I'm gonna agree there. He
man.
probably does have more in chat.
Man, that's fake, man. That's fake. Fake, man. GM just not doing his job apparently.
The
Or
chat's just
FM,
the
correct me.
aircraft carrier, you know, the chat's the aircraft carrier, and then all the jets are on the aircraft. All right, we can move on.
Yeah, let's go to the three standings. There's too much jots going on. We're just Jets. We got it. Let's look at the three standings here finally.
Yeah, actually, real quick, I think I do have my bracket also for twos.
Oh, you do? Oh,
I think so. I believe
we
so.
do.
Hopefully, we can pull that up. There
Oh,
it is, the
perfect.
beauty. No jets. No jets. It's beautiful. All
This is
right,
fake,
let's
guys.
look at this.
No one in chat look at this. This is the fakest stuff I have ever seen in my entire life.
Let's look at this
Twitter
bracket.
canceled
Oh,
this guy.
it is beautiful. All right, conference finals. I have Rhinos and Bears. I think both those teams have been real good standouts in Orange Conference so far. In the Blue Conference, Hurricanes and Express have been the standout teams. But I have the Hurricanes and the Bears in the championship, with the Hurricanes winning it all. Why? Because they have a plus 53 goal difference through 4 series. That is insane. I think that they are just a great team.
That's a lot of scoring. That's a lot. That is a bit. That's a high number for 4 weeks in. Actually, that is gonna be interesting to see, especially without them. You know, they're not the one seed. You know that they're not the top of the top, but they are. I mean, that's a good start to have, to say the least. I mean, I think it's a good way to look at it. But again, it's way too soon. We don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. Well, let's get into the threes now. We'll get into standard finally after our long chat. I mean, very similar on the regards of when we were looking at it. You know, a lot similar to teams. We see the Jets return once again for my man Bear, but we also see some new guys. Spartans at the top for this, and where they were a little not as great in twos, and we do see the Outlaws a lot more dominant in standard, which is very interesting to say. Again, one thing I saw a lot, you know, and I think, you know, y'all could attest, is like teams when they have such a good start in one of the modes, just say, you know what, I'm just gonna full send that mode and just give up on the other. And I definitely think standards with the addition of standard, that happens a lot more now than it used to.
Yeah, I know I have been considering different things for FL. We can focus standard, we can focus double, or as Jots, we can win them both. That's probably going to end up what happens anyways. But, you know, yeah, I definitely agree. I'm seeing that a lot going up against different lineups. I can see where they're really focusing a standard match and then going into doubles, we win because they used all their good players in standard, or vice versa. Going into a doubles match, we get destroyed 5-0, but then going into the standard, we get a 4-1 or a 5-0, you know, because they're focusing one or the other.
Absolutely. Well, but let's look at the bracket. I'm assuming this is terms, unless we got another Jets bracket incoming from Bear. But let's see what we got on this one. And it is a Jets. Is this one yours, Bear? Is this your realistic bracket?
Is this a realistic bracket? This is standard. Yeah, I would say that's pretty realistic. I've got to make sure I think I got my conferences right. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close to what's going to happen.
Is there a reason why? So you got the Bears again. So this is your coveted Bears. So they give Bears Jets both times. It'll be Bears and Jets going head to head for both finals.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because I've noticed Bears are not slowing down on either doubles or standards, because they're doing the same thing that my guys are doing. You know, we're just full sending it all the way on both doubles and standard. And they've got good players. So unless they rank out, you know, I'm going to have to worry about seeing them in championship series. I mean, everybody on the blue side, you know, I'm not worried about that. You know, let's not go back and look at the stats or anything. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty realistic bracket.
Realistic. Okay. Man, still at the 6th seed again. But hey, we said it. Underdogs can happen. It's a possibility. You know, again, we've seen it. I know Term's seen it. I know he's been in the league long enough too, where he's, you know, we've gotten to see a lot of teams who are underdogs and be even the 7 or the 6 seed who've made runs. So it's a realistic opportunity. Just because you're not in those 2 bye spots in the first round doesn't mean, oh, we're not going to make it, And I definitely see it as a possibility. And now we got Term. What do you got, Term? You got a little bit different. No Jets this time either.
I'm a little bit different. I don't even have the Bears in here this time. And no Jets again. I'm so sorry, Bear. But I think we do still have a really reasonable bracket here. Outlaws and Tyrants. We have the red teams over in the Orange Conference battling it out. In the Blue Conference, Lightning and Eclipse. I think the Lightning and the Outlaws just a little bit ahead of everyone right now. At least that's my way of looking at it. I'm not too familiar with FL. I have not had an FL team on any of my franchises in the last 3 seasons. So I'm not too sure myself. However, I like how they've looked so far, and I think that they could keep it up and get to the finals, where I have the Outlaws winning.
All right, not to interrupt or anything, but let's just think about this. He hasn't had an FL team for 3 seasons now, and I'm the captain of an FL team, and I say Jets are going to win. And so, if we do the math here, Jets are going to win. That's Luke. Do you get what I'm saying here? We on the same page?
I really don't want to support the Jets train. I really don't. But I feel like the chat's gonna hate me if I don't, because there's so much chat for the Jets. But I think it's more of I want to keep an open mind on it, because FL it has so many rank outs throughout the season that rosters are going to change so much. I mean, you said it yourself, Bear. You said you were hoping so many people rank out to help your team's chance of winning, because it does help, whether it's intentional or not intentional. It could affect you whether you'd like it or not, and help you, keep really have a better chance of winning the championship. So, I mean, I think I'd love to keep an open mind about it and see how the season will progress and what rankouts we'll continue to see as it goes on. But I think both brackets have a reasonable. I don't know about the doubles one for you, Bear, but 3's actual possibility. I definitely could see a possibility for it. Absolutely.
I don't know. Doubles make sense to me. I mean, Jets all the way.
Jets all the way. You can't go wrong with Jets all the way. All right, well, let's finally get into Academy League. We got Academy League double standings. Let's get right into that. It's been especially good one. A lot closer than we saw in FL. We saw a few teams really dominate standings wise. This one we see a lot closer, especially when it comes to the wild card. I mean, the play-in teams. Let me correct myself. And we have 3 teams who are leading 2 teams that are leading their division, tied with 2 of the play-in teams. And that's a very interesting thing to see. I mean, one big week where one of those teams go 5-0 and they're they get a bye. And it definitely could change a lot no matter which way you look at it, to say the least.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of really great teams in Blue Conference doubles. The Foxes they are a great team, just coming off a sweep. The Ducks 14-6. In Orange Conference, you got some really good teams as well. The Wizards at 14-6 right now, sitting pretty. They've had some fast starts in the past before, though, and I want to see if they could keep it up this season.
It will be interesting to see. I hope they do. I've been actually looking at their roster. I think it's a fun group. It's a really fun group. It's like one of those rosters you watch. You're like, man, I hope they really have some good results because of it. But I think it'll be a CC. So I know, Term, you made a bracket for this. Let's see your doubles AL bracket for this one. And I think you probably went head on when you said the Wizards comics. I assume that's where it was going.
Yeah, that's exactly where it was going. As you can see from my little title series right there between the Ducks and the Wizards, I think those 2 teams are a league above everyone else right now. Terms is killing it right now for the Ducks, and they're looking like a team that is unbeatable when he plays. So I think they can roll their way through Blue Conference. Although there's a lot of depth in both conferences, I think we could see the Flames rise up like a phoenix, like their logo, and possibly get a spot in the quarterfinals. The demo also have a good thing, ice cold brewing over there. So we'll have to see how it goes for them.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to also see how the Foxes do. I think they are a very big underdog that a lot of people are kind of not looking at. But they do have a really good, I love their roster top to bottom. And I think it's going to be interesting to see when they get to the end of the season what their lineup's going to look like for that. And with AL, there's a lot more similar salary players. You don't really have two guys who just stand up by a lot. It'll be a lot more in chemistry. And I don't know. I mean, are there any, FL rankouts that you think can make a big impact there for Academy League as well?
For Academy League, like they get like thinking. I think that there is. I will say that there's been rank downs that have definitely affected a lot of the AL teams, and I know because I've stolen a few of the players. But anyways, yeah. But there's definitely rank ups. I think my mind goes to Tato over on the Bears. If she ranks up, I know she's probably going to go to Bears again because she's assistant general manager or general manager. If she does that, that's going to make a pretty big difference on the Bears because she's a really good player. There's just all sorts of different ways that rank outs and rank downs can affect a league. And I will say that if any of the current 10 Sows rank up, that is going to affect FL a lot and AL a lot. That's that.
Absolutely. It does benefit and hurt. It may benefit a league. Like, let's say, there's a player who ranks up and they really did belong in AL and they end up really promoting a team and helping them make a good playoff run. It's definitely very likely. And rank downs, I could definitely assume, have hurt a lot of teams, and just made matchups a lot more difficult because you have to go against these players who rank down. But it will be interesting to see, again, as the season progresses, what are we going to get out of that? What's it going to kind of turn into? But let's go into the standards of rankings for Academy League. I think it's a little bit different for this as well. I was kind of caught off guard when I found out kind of how the top was going to look for this. Because again, the Foxes, who I really am looking a lot to in twos, they are really the top team in Santa to look out for. And the Tyrants, they're back at the top now for threes for the Orange Conference. I mean, I don't know a lot about these teams, Sherm, but again, it's a lot of close calls again where some teams are really should be into that top four, but due to their matchups in their division, they're still on the outside.
Exactly. I look in Orange Conference at Shadow right now. The Shadow have a great team. They had a great team last season. I think we could really see them continue to progress as the season goes on and possibly get above that 6 seed they have right now. I think 6 is a little low for them, but they could definitely see themselves shooting up. But again, it depends on the rest of your division and how good they are as well.
Absolutely. That out-of-conference matchups are so important, whether people realize it or not, because let's say you get 5-0'd by an out-of-conference matchup and one of your division rivals goes 5-0, wins 5-0. That swing, whether you beat them or not, could literally flip a whole standings for a division in one weekend. So it's really important to see, but let's look at your bracket term. I think I am intrigued on where you went with this one because I was not expecting you to go the route you end up going. But, of course, they're the Aviators.
Yeah, they're the Aviators. This is the only Homer bracket that I made, so let me just throw that out there. I try not to be too biased, but I had to be biased because in the Blue Conference, the Foxes are on top, but the Aviators won 3-2 last week. So, I had to put some recency bias in there and my own Homer bias. The Aviators getting the championship, plus I think Icy Fatal's watching, and he'd be so disappointed if I didn't put Aviators on here at least once. On the Orange Conference, I love Tyrants right now. I think that they're going to take a bite out of all the competition they have, and there's the Shadow I have making a surprise deep run as well.
Fresh, please don't be mad at us. We're sorry. I'm sorry for what my colleague Termas said here against your Foxes, but I mean, hey. That's the point. You better prove them wrong. That's the point of these. I want to see, I want these brackets to be a way for y'all to prove us wrong on what we put. And I think it will be interesting. Aviators, they are an interesting team on the outside as well. They're barely looking in. And I think they will be something very interesting to watch. And I think they definitely could make a run. I mean, a lot of these teams could come from those lower ends of the bracket and really make those. I mean, we saw that you said the Shadow, the Aviators. I mean, it's very possible. And I mean, bearing the FL, we saw the Jets as well. Whether it be biased or not, it's still a possible opportunity to say the least.
And I want to throw out there in AL3s right now for Blue Conference, teams in the seeds 6 through 12 right now are separated by 1 game. The 2 teams in a playoff spot are 11-9, and then there are 5 teams right outside the play-ins that are 10-10. There's so much depth in a lot of these leagues right now, going for those final couple play-in spots. The races will be really interesting to see through the end of the season because right now, yes, I have the Aviators going, but they're a game away from being outside of the playoffs. So there's so much depth, especially in that blue conference for threes, that we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, again, one good week and you're in that top 7 and you're just like throwing a party because you're like, we're in playoffs. But you gotta do it for even longer than just one weekend. So it makes week 5 and those matches that we brought up earlier so much more impactful because again, you win 3-2. That 3-2 can mean so much more than you could realize when you're outside of playoffs by one game. So it'll be interesting to see. And I'm really excited to see AL. AL is such a fun league for me because of the fact of like it has so many rank ups and rank downs, and it's just like anyone can have a good day and just really step up. I mean, you brought up too, Bear, with like the rank ups. Those rank ups can make a bigger impact, I feel like, in AL than any other league because of that kind of power, that gap. I feel like it's not as big as in other leagues, to say the least. But again, y'all are both the FL and AL players. I don't know that, but that's at least what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you. It makes more sense. There's obviously still there's a difference between any league, but I think I agree. AL and FL probably the least distance in that gap. And a good FL player can make a pretty solid AL player.
It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see how Tato does. I mean, she was the number 1 pick from the FL draft. Kind of everyone expected to rank up way sooner, and it still is not ranked out yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that does end up happening. But let's move on to Champ League. I'm excited about this one. This one, I feel like I got to start making brackets for. And we'll start with doubles. Again, another one. This is a big one. We see a big jump. I mean, Pirates, 16-4, which is very interesting because if you saw their 3 standings, which we'll get to eventually, you would be very surprised with the big drop off that they have. But in twos, I mean, it's working. It's working, and they've clearly put all their eggs in that basket, and they're at the top right now, to say the least. Which it'll be interesting to see. And over in the blue conference, we do have the Jets, as Bear likes to see them making their run. I bet I know that's who he would have going all the way for CL.
You
But
know, we've said the number 1 seed doesn't always win conference finals, but something's different about this CL team. I'm telling you, the number 1 seed in blue conference is going all the way.
I will say exactly, and it is interesting to see those playing teams. The teams of the 5, 6, and 7 are really good. I mean, the Pandas. I would be so upset if I was 13-7 and not even a top 4 team. It's definitely a little agitating that you have to be behind the Pirates, but it'll motivate me even more as season go on. So let's get to our first bracket for number 2 for twos, and this I believe this should be my bracket. Yeah, this is my bracket. Yeah, this is mine. So. I actually really love. I have the Jets and the Pirates. I had to go a little bit on the train, but I do actually have the Pirates winning this matchup. I just like their roster a little more top to bottom, especially when it comes to their power. Like 'cause when I look at playoffs, I look at who's going to be the starting duo, who's going to be the guys who are really going to lead a team in the playoffs. And I think the 2 guys who I really like, I just think they have 3 14-5s who they could pick from and kind of make a roster around. And I think that's so terrifying that you could just kind of pick your roster week by week and really make a statement. Jets, though, I do think they're going to be a really good team. I think they will run the blue conference pretty handily. I love their I think Shearer's going to be a big impact player as well. I think he'll be one of the top players if he doesn't rank out. And it'll be very interesting to see how he does. But again, I think there are a lot of their teams as well who could definitely make an impact as well. But we can go into your bracket term. I think you might have a little more excitement than I might actually.
I'm not sure, but let's see here. I got the Shadow and the Jets making the finals, but I have the Shadow coming out on top because right now I love the way that they're playing. They have a great team. I'm sorry, Bear, but
No, you're wrong.
When you have players like Knicks, when you have players like Ford, Form RL, Booger Bear, these are great players. Caliber, a very good roster. They just lost Torsten to ML. However, they can sign someone else at 13-5 or less to really give their roster a bit more depth. I think that they have a great team and should be able to keep it up.
Yeah, the big question. Oh, you go, Bear. You got it.
Well,
Go.
well, I've got a good argument for this. I couldn't argue with yours as much, Luke, but because Pirates' record is 16-4 and Jets is 14-6. However, I will argue Shadow versus Jets all day. Shadow's current record is 13-7, and Jets again is 14-6. So Jets win that. I'll argue. I'd put money on that. If I was a betting man, I'd bet on Jets, which
Well, then we should really go back to your FL bracket where you said you're 9-11 Jets, you're 10-10 Jets. We're gonna win the
9-11.
whole
I think it was
thing.
9-11. Yeah. So
Yeah. So if we really want to go off of current records, there, Bear.
Well, as far as that goes, listen, I chose my lineups according to what games I knew we could win and what games I thought we couldn't. All right, going into these next few weeks, expect to see a few more 5-0s from Jets because we've already gotten some. Expect some more. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think it'll be interesting to see. I think I do like the Shadow roster. I personally think that I like the Pirates a little more over that. I like Dragon King and Trampoline Cow a little bit more in sense of a duo for them. And that rank up was a big thing for me that really hurt the Shadow. I really want to see how they bounce out from that rank up. And I think it's going to be, again, how teams kind of respond and play off of those is going to be very interesting to see how they turn that around, especially when you were only 13-7. But they will be interesting to see. I think there'll be a 5 seed that definitely, if they do end up staying in that spot and the Pirates do hold on to their 1 seed, I think Shadow would definitely be a big underdog to keep an eye on. But let's look at the 3 standings for Champ League. We have not gotten into those. The last one before we have a little bit of an intermission. And this one, it's a little bit quieter on the side of the orange covers. Actually, it looks like a little bit of a miss. One match has not been played by the looks of it with the Elite being the 1 seed, but we will play around it. But it is interesting to see a complete different thing. Pirates not even making playoffs at this point, which is, in my eyes, unbelievable when you're 16-4 in a mode. Clearly, they put all their eggs in the threes. They're going for it. And then we have the Hive and no Jets for the Blue Conference. Clearly, y'all, but Champions, just pick your mode, pick your poison, man, and let's just see where it goes.
I think there was a misprint. That's what I'm gonna stick with that excuse for now.
Yeah, I think I'll give you that excuse as well, but it will make the bracket a little more interesting because we do have some new teams now. You know, Puffins on the board. I think we have the Comets for the first time now as well, and it'll be interesting. Oh, no, we have the Comets again. The Comets was already there. But we do have some new teams as well in the mix, kind of competing. Outlaws is the one I was thinking of. And let's look at the brackets for that. We'll start with mine, hopefully, if that's the one that gets pulled up first. And I had to go with one homie pick this whole tournament because I just got picked up by this roster and for my man Ice Cold for Ice. The Demolition, I think they're going to make a whole lower bracket as the 3s. I think they're going to make a big run and surprise some people with their record 13-7. I actually really love their lineup outside of it. And they have, with how difficult their division has been, they've still held on to it, like that lead of 13-7. Both the 6 and 7 seed are from the Mystic division. So clearly, like, that level of just consistency has just been really showing. And I think that's the reason why their record is as low as it is. I think they would be leaning if they were in an easier division. And I think they're going to make a huge run and win the whole thing over the Hive, which I looked at it. I think I think they're right now above every team in the Blue Conference. I think Express will have the best shot. I just think they're going to have a hard time. I think Blizzard are going to be a little bit more of a threat than the Express will be. But I think it'll be Hive versus Demolition. Demolition going to pull it off and make a big run.
I love that demo pick. They are a great team right now, and I could see them going to the championship for sure. I can agree with you there. They are a very talented team that could make a run.
Absolutely. What about Term? I know you made your bag. We're about to show in this. We'll probably show it in a second, but like you have the Express. I did look at this one before, and I kind of did disagree with you. And you have the Express this time making the run, and the Elite being, the team the 1 seed that makes a run this time. So I was kind of intrigued to see that.
Yeah, I think the Elite, they're a very well-run franchise. They always have been. And DK has been doing such a great job with that team. And I think DB3 was in charge of the CL squad for a long time, and they have the talent to make a run to the finals, where I do think they end up beating actually, sorry, I had the Express beating the Elite. The Express are a good team. As you mentioned, I'm taking the other one of those two 16-4 squads in the Blue Conference, but the Hive are just as capable of winning it all. And I think it'll be a shootout between those two teams in the conference finals.
I do think so. I'm intrigued to see. I have the Express falling off a little early. I mean, it was my old team, and maybe I'm a little biased about it, but I do think they would. The Blue Conference is going to be way more, in my opinion. Like, there's going to be a really 2 or 3 teams competing for it. And I feel like they're just really leagues above everyone else. And Orange Conference is just, it's going to be a fair game for everyone. And I'm excited to see how it does turn out. I mean, that Mid-State Conference, I mean, they have 3 teams currently in the playoffs, which is really hard. 3 out of 4 is not easy to do. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of turns out, especially when they play at the end of the season, when they have those rematches, if they're really competing for the winner of the division and if the other 2 are competing for those playing spots, which I'm excited to see how they turn out. I don't know. It makes it exciting, but I think we need a little. You think we need a little break? I think we need a little break from some pick'ems. I think we've had a little too much of pick'ems.
I would agree. I think it's some clip time right now.
Yeah, some clip time indeed. We actually are gonna have hanger or banger. I did not come up with the name. That was not my choice. I think it's funny, but it's interesting to see the least. Basically, we're gonna have y'all guys are gonna watch with us some clips that were sent in by members of the league, and we're gonna have to judge whether they were a banger or if they were a hanger. Hanger, they weren't there. Banger, it's chef's kiss. I mean, that's all you can ask for. Whether it be out of luck, whether it be out of skill, it could be either one or the other. And we have a good group of clips to go through. First, we're going to start with. I have to give a big shout out to my man Isaiah, the man behind it all. He wanted us to go through his first. I wanted to go through his first. I think it's just he's got to have the first honor. He's been the one running the scenes for these last couple of weeks for us. And let's get his clip. Let's get him started with Isaiah from the Demolition. It'll be interesting to see what he ends up doing with this. Oh, we got the pre-jump. Oh, dude, that's what I call. That's my favorite defender right there. Is that crossbar? Legitimately.
Well, did we pause the video in time? It was quite a clip, especially in a lower league like that, going up for that sort of play.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, it's good ability. I mean, like the ability to read that is like for the level that he was playing at for Academy League. I mean, that is very good to get that pre-jump in and that shot in. But placement's more important than power by the looks of it. I wish I could understand that, but I do not. Yeah.
This has nothing to do with this or anything, but if that was a Jets AL player, he would have made it. But you know.
Oh my! The conflict, man. Man,
wow.
it's just all Jets today, isn't it? All Jets from Bear today. Nothing wrong with it.
Should have been the name of the stream. Jet Jots. That should have been the name. It's fine though. It's
Absolutely. I mean, I'd personally give that a hanger. I mean, unfortunate that he couldn't get it in. I mean, I would be taken if that was a 0-second goal to win that game. And you would have said OT. I'm hoping they didn't lose it. I kind of want to ask Isaiah actually if they lost it or not. But definitely not the way you'd want to go out for that and kind of go into OT, kind of ruin that momentum. But I'd give probably a hanger to say the least.
Oh, they lost. They lost.
They lost?
They lost. What a shame. What a shame. Well, next time you got to hit those.
Yeah, just be better, Isaiah. That's all I can say. It's just be better. Not much else to it.
Come on.
Oh, what about you, Bear? What do you give it? Hanger or banger?
Well, I mean, it didn't go in, and I know that's technically supposed to be what judges it, but I'll still give it a banger for the fact that he had in his mind what he needed to do. He might not have completed it, but I mean, I have plenty of the plays where, you know what needs to happen. It just, you don't get it out of yourself. And so I'd give it a banger just since y'all are going to be mean to him.
I love him, man. I mean, hey, execution is still a key value. I mean, for the amount of power he got, it was a hard shot. I'll admit, I had a nice thing to do that, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's go on to our next shot. This one by 43 from the Hawks from Champion League. Interesting to see what we get from this one. Champion League, I feel like there's so much that can happen. And it looks like it's going to be a lot. It looks like a twos lobby. Gets a. Oh, God. I see the. We have a little bit of a freeze, but by the looks of it, I think it's about to be a double.
Yeah,
that is going to be a challenging one to hit. But one thing to note is that the net is open, so it can't be blocked like our last clip we saw.
It wasn't blocked, though. It was blocked by the crossbar. It could definitely be blocked.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
I didn't get a chance to judge, so I'm going to go ahead and say it was a banger.
Wow.
That was a banger, all right.
I was not expecting the pinch. I was expecting just a basic double tap. Never mind, he got me. I would not have hit that. That's a good shot. That is a banger.
That is a banger if I've ever seen one.
Like the ability to control your car to get a pinch like that. There's no way that's intentional. If I asked that man, he wouldn't. There's no way that's intentional.
Wait, I disagree with that. I think he knew. I don't know who that is, but they look good. All right.
It was 43 from the Hawks, Champion League player.
Champion League? Well, I don't know. It was good. He's good. I'm gonna stand by that. I think he may have known what was going on there. Maybe
only good. That was great. That was like a bowl of Frosted Flakes right there. That was awesome.
Oh God, no! I can't go with the Frosted Flakes joke. I think it's an interesting shot thing that's interesting to see, but I'll have to see what ends up happening from that. I mean, I'll probably ask him. I might DM him and say, hey, did you mean to hit that? Was that an intentional pinch? But if it was, I couldn't have done that when I was in Champ League. I promise you that. But let us go into the next clip, which this one is by Colt. I'm trying to say how to say it. It's Colt's Cola. Interesting crypt to say the least. Colt's Koala. There we go.
Yeah.
He's a foundationally player from the elite. Obviously, Barry, you got him down.
I know that guy. He's a cool guy.
And let's how we get the doing. You get a little bit of pause again. I'll forgive your game.
Oh, we may have seen the ending, but considering I know she's an FL player, I would have said no way, Jose, on this shot.
I wouldn't have either, because I know how this ends, and that's actually impressive that they read the ball like that. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been foundation ever. Or at least that level in a long time. I would have never hit a doink like that.
I missed it. I must have missed it. I thought did they hit it? Yeah, I would have said hit. There's a lot of really good. Colt's Koala is one of them, but there's a lot of really good people in FL. I could see a select few being able to hit that.
Definitely one of those. He was one of the early picks I recall from that draft. Due to that fact, he was so just talented mechanically. I do remember that.
I think it was a top 3 pick, if I remember right.
Exactly. Yeah, they only had 2 picks. They just gave up on every other league and went all FL. And luckily, he hasn't ranked out yet. So I guess they've gotten lucky on it. But if he keeps sending us clips like that, he might be, unfortunately. But let's get on to the next. I give it a banger. I'm assuming we're all going banger on that one.
That was a banger.
All right, well, let's go into the next one. It's another Foundation League, DeBomb from the Knights. Interesting clip to say the least. And we got the controls on the screen. I actually respect it so hard. And this will be an interesting play to see what he does for a ones play. It looks like he's stuck in his half.
A long clip, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
guess I should know.
That. That's a banger. I don't know if it could have been a way better shot, but he's gonna make that.
Yeah, I guess. Depends on where it goes. I would personally give it I thought he was gonna do something off the wall with it. I'm gonna give it a hanger personally because I thought it was supposed to off the wall, and I might set my expectations too high. But I'm gonna give it a hanger.
I also got to think this one's going to be a bit of a hanger here. This touch looks like it may not be the best, but it's tough to really tell this early. We're going to have to see how quick the respawn is.
Yeah, if he gets another demo and slows it down, demos again, then I might change my mind. But we'll have to see if we get the rest of the clip. I have to. Oh, it looks like we will. So we'll just carry this in. Yeah, no, it's a good demo play. But the demo, I can't tell if it's intentional or not. It looks like he just lands on it, and it just kind of happens. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
It's still a demo, though. It's still a banger, and a literal banger, even.
Yeah,
Yami there.
a little boom. It happened. A little boom action.
Definitely a little bit of a boom. A little boom. But I'll give it a hanger. I'm going to stick in the hanger spot. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me being a little too critical, but I feel like I have to be for this. We can't just give out bangers left and right, especially with the amount we got sent to us. But let's I'm going to the next one. We'll have another going back up to Academy. We're gonna have IMDZ from the Knights. Another Knight player, back-to-back Knights players. Very interesting to see who the Oars are, trying to make their organization proud. We'll see what happens here. Clearly not the best situation if they rotate back. And here we go. Ooh, redirect opportunity.
That's in. That's a banger.
After the bump like that, I would have to say it's hard to submit a play where you don't get the shot. I think this is going to be a banger.
I'm just looking at the score. It's 6-0 already. This is brutal. Van gets a bump play on the opponent and then gets a redirect. I mean, if I was on the opposed team, I would just abandon match. Just straight up.
Was this an MLE match?
I really hope this was not an MLE match. That'd be really rude.
6-0-2.
Oh, geez, that's rough.
Oh, wait, no, that's... Maybe I'm just confused. That goes in. Either way, that goes in.
Oh,
I see.
man. Never mind. No way.
Oh, that hurt.
What?
That hurt.
Oh, and they give up the goal. So that was a goal to make it 6-1.
Wait,
not to make it 7-0.
Oh my god!
That makes it even worse. That makes it worse.
Never mind. I would be abandoning. That's an abandoned match right there. Sorry.
You get out of that right there. That.
Wow, I was not expecting that at all.
What league was he in?
That was an Academy League. That was Academy League. That was the bomb from the night. Oh no, that was IMDZ from the Knights.
That is peak Academy League if I've ever seen Academy League.
If that was a league match and you just gave up your 7th goal because of that, I would be so mad. Because that's out of your control. I mean, that's post.
Those are the ones that you don't recover from.
You don't.
Those are the ones you don't mentally recover from.
That's the one where you're like, man, I don't have time for MLE anymore, man. I gotta do school now. Don't do that, actually, though. I know people have done that. Don't do that. But let's go to the next clip. I think we all say that went from a banger to a hanger. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the next one. We're gonna go with the Champ League once again. And it's going to be Caliber from the Foxes. We got a ones clip on this one. So we'll see if it's another demo play. I was kind of a little disappointed in the last one. Let's see if Caliber can one-up his teammate.
Oh, it's going to be a flip reset. If he gets that, does it look like he gets that to you guys?
From that angle?
He's going for the orange?
Yeah.
Wow.
From that corner. That's...
You said he's... CL or ML?
He's CL. This is CL.
CL.
If he hits this, I'm going to be very upset because I cannot hit this and I am PL.
No, I want to say it goes right to the goalie and they score a counter.
But here's the thing.
I want to say this is a
really
hanger.
submit a clip?
Well, we just saw the last one. We just saw the last one. It was a great bump.
It was a great bump that turned into a goal on the other end because of a post. I feel like this is going to hit the crossbar and then go off his car and then go into his net. I'm going to go with that extreme.
I'm just going to say it's a banger. I want to have faith in this. I really do.
I don't want to because that makes me look like a worse player because I should be better than this.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
That's insane. That's actually insane that he pulls that off. Legitimately.
Wow.
It was ridiculously good. I've got the stream pulled up. That way I can watch it a second time because that was amazing.
That was.
Wow.
Get this man an ML. What does this man see? What's this man's salary? I'm literally going to find her right now. Just see what this man's salary is.
You going to report him, make him go all the way up to PL?
He's a 14. Nah, this man needs to be a 15. Put him up right now to 15 at least after that. That's a definite banger for me. That's a banger.
That was a banger if I've seen one. That's such a great clip, especially from CL. You would expect that to be something we see more in ML. Now it is ones you're not getting the same kind of pressure you get in the MLE games. However, the control it takes to make a play like that, unbelievable.
Yeah, I wish I could hit that. I wish.
Cheers.
That's one could dream. All right, well, let's go into the last one. We're finally going to go up above Shaley. We're going to have a one Masterly clip from, I'm so bad at saying his name. It's Dejerty. I think that's how you say it, from the Spartans. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. I don't get pronunciation help for this. But I think it's Dejerty, and he's from the Spartans Master League, and this will be the last one we'll look at for the night for this section. Oh, and it's on Salty Shores. You know it's about to be a banger. Hold on.
There's a Oh, wait, no, that's his own teammate. Oh, but there's a defender in the corner. I think his teammate saves it. I'm going to go with Hanger. I think his teammate accidentally... Oh, wait, I'm still confused. No, that is a defender.
I still see a banger. I just feel like the teammate's going to get a demo from the corner with that boost, and he's going to get a double tap flip reset.
You kidding me?
But
The overtime winner. There's going to be an overtime winner to end it right here. That's what I think. I think this clip's going to be a banger. I think we see a double tap even.
Yeah, I'm saying a flip reset double tap. Hanger. If this ends as an OT loss, man, that would be really upsetting if you lose off this. Yeah, there it is. Double flip reset. I think he got a second flip off that. I need to look at the stream because I think he got a second flip reset off that one, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, he did. He got 3 flips off that, actually. Wow. Okay, that actually is insane.
He's an ML. He belongs there, maybe better. That's all I got from that. That being said, Undead, I see your messages. You are not getting ranked up to AL. My own team is trying to leave me. You guys see this?
Yeah, maybe it's because you said they were going to lose in the playoffs. You know, you said they were going to lose
7 times.
7 times, man. That's really messed up. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Not a fan of it.
All right.
Not a fan of it. Just not okay, man. You can't do that to your teammates. You got to just come on. All right. Well, that was banger hanger. It was actually way more interesting than I was. With this first time doing it. I hope we get to do it again because I actually want to hopefully get some more PL guys to end up doing it. But we will. But now it's back to get into the pick'ems. We have 2 leagues left. We have ML and we have PL. My 2 leagues I actually have a little more knowledge on because I'm not as good in the lower leagues knowledge-wise. But let's start with ML doubles. Let's get a look at the standings. You know, definitely interested to see how this has turned out. I will say this: when I was making this and I saw the Outlaws were the 4 seed with an 11-9 record, I always felt so bad for the Dodgers because of the fact that they have 15 wins and they're ranked number 5 right now. Like, I would be so mad. I would be so mad about that.
Yeah, it's a rough thing to come in as one of those top play-in teams. However, again, it means you're facing the worst division winner in the first round. So the Dodgers would have a chance to at least take out the Outlaws in the first round of the playoffs and prove that they should have been the higher seed.
Definitely should have. I know. I'm excited to see how a lot of these divisions turn out. I mean, the Bears are also competing for it. So, I mean, 10-10, they could literally pass the Outlaws with 1 game and then be top 4. And that's a great spot to be in.
Speaking of Bears, where are the Jets?
Where are the Jets? What is this, ML? Let me dial Rexton real quick. You know, figure out who made this screen thing because it's wrong. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's a good defense. That's what I like to hear right there. Let's look at our first bracket. Where are the Jets? As the Jets are not winning it, then it's not a good bracket. This is my bracket.
And so you said it's not a good bracket, and then it's your bracket, and Jets don't win it. Come on.
Oh, obviously, yeah, it's my bracket. It's gotta be amazing. I have the Shadow, man. You cannot sleep on the Shadow. I love this roster still. I don't care what people say about it. I just believe so hard. And the Mike is my Ike, Ray, Oh wait, this is the threes one. This is not doubles actually. This is not the doubles one. But if this is my standard one, I guess I could go into in a minute. But
Well, do we have my twos bracket?
yeah, I think did we actually just go for three standing and I'm just stupid? That could be a possibility.
It's fine. We can do standard.
We can
real
do
quick to
standard.
get it out
We'll
of
go
the
over this.
way.
There's doubles. Okay,
Oh,
here's
okay.
doubles. I thought it was different because I was like, I don't think I have the shadows first. It was okay. That's what I thought. So I actually have the Dodgers with the Blizzard because I think the Dodgers are really good and they have gotten screwed over because their whole conference division is really good. And I have the Dodgers winning the whole thing over the Blizzard, who I also think have been an underdog this season. I just think doubles is so like for ML is literally anyone's game. I think anyone could legitimately take it. I think maybe the seven
like
seeds.
the Jets.
Yeah, they got to make playoffs or spare. Yeah, they got to make playoffs.
Whatever.
Sorry. But,
Whatever.
whatsoever. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see. I think the seven seeds are definitely gonna be a little harder. I don't know if they're gonna have much of a chance, but I think any of those top six, I think they all have a shot. Legitimately, I think they all can compete, and they're all gonna have a free running. I think the Dodgers have I think both the Dodgers and the Blizzard have such a good top and bottom roster that I think they're gonna really bring their standings back up, and I think they'll honestly be closer to the top of the standings by the end of the season, legitimately.
Definitely a possibility for those two squads. They're great squads that I think, as you said, could definitely make the championship series. They could also get eliminated before it because ML has such depth in it that, as you mentioned, the top 6 teams can win. The top 7, 8, 9 teams can even win.
That is true.
You said top 7, 7, 8, 9, whatever. I'm thinking top 13 could win. Top
13.
Top
Yeah.
13. I mean, it's a possibility. Number 13 number 13 Jets. That's the team right there for ML. Is this double still? Yeah.
And the depth
That's
is
my money.
Yeah, and the depth is even there, like you said. I mean, like literally, there's so many teams that are just 2 games out from playoffs right now and catching the Bears in the Orange Conference for that 7th seed. It's just crazy that it's anyone's game, really. Like this is, in my opinion, ML is gonna be one of the most interesting seasons, like leagues to see how the standings will change over time. Because I really think that the 12-8 Wizards could end up being a top 3 seed by the end of the season. It's very likely, but. Let's see what you have, Term. I think you're gonna have something very different to mine. If I had to bet,
yeah, I did. I chose teams that you didn't have getting past the play-in rounds, get into my finals in the Wolves and the Flames. I think the Flames, as I mentioned before, they can rise up. They can beat a great Dodgers squad and get there. I think the Wolves also have a great team. I do have the Flames flaming out, though, once they get to the championship series. I have the Wolves winning it all, but again, there's so much depth in ML doubles that it really could go either way. I put the Aviators in there. You mentioned the Blizzard. The Blizzard have a great team. Maybe I was a little bit of a homer pick there for my hometown squad. But
I will say this: if that Blizzard Wolves series ends up happening, that's going to be a really good series. I would be really excited to watch that because I think those are 2 teams that are really underrated by their lineups, and I think they would really surprise a lot of people. And I think that'd definitely be who I'd keep my eyes on because both teams they should make. I would think they both will because I just think their rosters are really good. But it'll be interesting to see. Let's go on into standard. Let's see a little bit different. Nothing too crazy. Besides one team in the blue conference, where were the Sabres before? Well, where were they? They were doing terrible or not really amazing in 2s. But in 3s, they haven't lost. They haven't lost a series. I mean, they've only lost 3 games. I mean, that's insane. That's insane to look at this point.
I believe that's the best record that we've seen in all of MLE so far. They are a great team and a team that can make a deep run.
Absolutely. I just think it's so interesting how they just have completely 180'd it. And I mean, I'll admit, back in the preseason when we had our first open net, second one, I said that the Sabres had the worst draft. I said I didn't like their picks at all. And man, they have proved me wrong. Zara, he's good. He's a good player. Yeah, he's very good. And Lychee and Zeta have both stepped up a lot more than I expected, and I think it'll be interesting to do. But let's go into our first bracket. I would assume this is going to be the one that I had, and it is the Shadow and the Sabres. This is what that's why I was so confused when I saw it last time. But it's the Sabres in the Shadow. I think the Sabres are going to continue this run. I'm hoping they don't have any rank outs because I think they can cruise, rest, not have to use all their players' games, and kind of play their players responsibly and have them in the matches that they need them for. And they're going to have an easy cruise to that 1 seed and have an easy ride through the Blue Conference. But I think the team is the Shadow. I feel it. That Ray, Haim Game, and Mike is my Ike are going to make the run of the century from the lower bracket as the 7th seed and win the whole thing. I feel it in my bones. It will happen. I don't care what seed they are. They are going to make a run, and it's going to happen. I know it. I believe in that trio. It's all there, honestly.
I don't believe in it.
Man said literally only talking about the Jets going to be in at the not even in the playoffs, but
I mean they are in here. They're in the play-ins, but I think in standard they're ranked number 6 or 7. But that's just a number, all right? What if I said I was 90 years old? That's still just a number, you know. It doesn't matter. Unless you're under 16, I guess that would matter as far as being allowed to join, but it's a number at the end of the day. That's my point.
that is not the route I thought you were going with that when you first made that comment. But it's interesting to see, and I'm interested to see what your bracket looks like, Terma, because again, we've been very different on ML to say the least, but it looks like we have a little more similarity this time.
We do have a bit of similarities here. I have the Sabres going to the finals just like you did, but I had them beating the Comets in the finals. The Comets, I think, are a decent team. They can make a run. The Pandas also incredibly good. I think they could go deep in the Orange Conference. The Orange Conference, I think, is really deep when it comes to ML Standard. I think you have a lot of great teams. There are 12 teams currently with 12 or more wins. Five teams with 12 or more wins. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong. I was looking at doubles. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there are 6 teams with 13 or more wins. It's a very crowded top of the standings in ML3, so it really could go either way there.
I really do. I think there's a lot. Again, I think the depth is just there. There's so much that we could see these lower end teams do. I mean, again, when I won it, I was a 5 seed. My team was a 5 seed. And in other leagues we've seen so many different types. We saw a 7 seed win it in season 12. We've seen a 6 seed win it in season 11. I mean, it's so easy to see these lower end teams make runs due to how good the top of their lineup is. And the reason their record's so low is due to that not having a good depth, and they just really thrive when they get into that playoff atmosphere. So it'll be interesting to see. I love ML. It's one of my favorite leagues. Again, it's done a lot for me at least. And it'll be interesting to see. Rank outs will have a big factor too. So that only leaves one league. It leaves at the top of the top. And we all made brackets for this one. I promise you that. We all have PL brackets. I am excited about this one. I'm terrified on the DMs I'm going to get from people after this. But we have PL doubles. And boy, oh boy, this is the most separation between standings out of any of the leagues, because the difference between number 1 and number 5 is just insane to me. You go from 14 to 6 to last place being at 5 and 15. I mean, that is insane margin. It's just it's a lot more cutthroat, and the kind of separation of talent is definitely there, to say the least.
It is, and you look at Blue Conference, how close is that conference from 2 to 5? You have an 11 and 9 team sitting in second and an 8 and 12 team sitting last. You have a 10 and 10 team sitting on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So a lot to be played out in that Blue Conference. The Orange Conference, it seems to be shaping up in the way that it'll be towards the end of the season, but still a lot of games to be played.
It's weird, and a lot of things is we will see some similarities when we go to 3s, but then we will see some very big changes as well when we get to it as well. But that's also why I also was super excited for the Spartans Hurricanes matchup this week, is for their doubles match. It's just due to the fact that they are literally competing for that potential 3 spot. And if you lose that, you're going to be very far out of playoffs depending on how the other results go. So it'll be interesting to see. But let's go into my PL doubles bracket. I actually thought about this pretty well, and I just think it's to be a very top heavy one. I do have both 3 seeds winning. I think the Blizzard and the Demolition will just be a little bit better than their opponents. Demo's a little bit of a bias for me, but I still think their top duo of Tuck and Dustin, which will most likely be, is going to outpace the other one of the Flames, no matter how good Ken is. And then I have the Blizzard over the Ducks. I think it's a good series as well. I think Blizzard. I just love their roster a ton. It's just going to be hard when you get to that conference finals where you got to play the Hive and the Rhinos. They're the top for both modes. I'll say that right now. I got the Rhinos and Hive winning both in doubles, and I got the Rhinos winning in doubles. I think red and that red and Pandy combo is really good. I've heard Pandy's playing twos now, so it's a good thing. And I just don't think I think they're gonna be really hard to beat. They've already proven that they're the best team for doubles right now, and I think they're gonna be really hard to beat in the long run.
So, Luke, you are in PL, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct. How in the world and you're on Demolition, correct? You're like, this is okay. How in the world is Demolition gonna win a championship final series if their own team don't have, passion about it? Like, I'm on FL Jets, and FL Jets win everything. That's as far as I'm. Come on, man. Demolition
They also
wins.
lost everything.
We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Please don't kick me, Tuck. I just joined. I just joined. I don't need to be kicked yet. But I the only reason is they are 8-12. They just did a lot of roster moves, which was one being picking myself up. They just picked up 3 new players. I need to see how those rosters play together first before I want to put them beating the Rhinos. And plus, the Rhinos are just that good right now. It's just really hard to pick them losing. I really think it's going to be really hard to beat them. Which is why I do have them winning twos. But it'll be interesting to see. I wonder what you got, Term. You got something a little different from me?
Actually, let's see Bear's picks. I'm interested.
Oh, you want to see Bear? We'll do Bear.
Yeah, I want to see Bear because Bear has not had a pick since FL here. So let's see his pick-ups.
Is that yours, Bear?
Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly remember who I picked, but I do remember I had
yours.
That's definitely yours. Man, you got more passion than I do.
Yeah, I didn't actually pick whether the. Wait, no, I did. I did say Ducks beat Demolition, but I put y'all in championship finals, which is further. I mean, Rhinos are good, but I have belief in my friend Luke here. I think he could pull something out of his back pocket and get a 3-2 series or something like that. I have confidence. Then whenever they come against the Ducks, though, I mean, is there any better name than the Ducks? I mean, that's
the
kind of
Quack Attack. It's the Quack Attack.
The Quack Attack, exactly.
I will say the Ducks have had a surprising season, in my opinion. I think people could agree. Like, no one thought they'd be the 2 seed. Everyone thought it'd probably be the Spartans for twos, and they aren't even in playoffs, which is insane to me. So I will say I am very surprised the Ducks are here, and if they make a run, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I would be surprised because I didn't think of it at the start, but I mean, they're already pulling off upsets left and right this season. I think they can keep it going for sure.
All right, now let's get to my bracket because I know that's what everyone here has been waiting for. There it is. The beautiful bracket that it is. A lot like you, Luke. Hive and Rhinos get into the championship series. I think those are the 2 best teams right now, and they're gonna get it out with Rhinos probably gonna finish on top. But I do have the Spartans pulling out, getting into the top 2 or top 3 seeds, getting a playoff spot, and I also have the Flames beating your demo. But it could go either way.
I think it will either. Ken is a very good player. Everyone in PL knows that. But I'm interested to see how it goes. I think this is, again, as I said at the start of the show, is the first season where I think PL is really up for grabs. It's not like one team is just like, oh, they have comp on their team. It's over. I mean, or they have deluxe on their team. We're not going to beat them, So I am excited to see how the season ends up turning out for PL and like how playoffs end up shaking up, because it really is going to be an interesting thing. And with that, let's go into threes. I mean, we got one last one to do. I think threes is a little bit of a 180 on some of the teams, aka the Shadow. For some reason, they only want to be good at threes. I had to cast a game for them last 2 weeks ago, and they just completely stunk against the Flames. But it's a bit different. I mean, we see the Spartans in playoffs for this one, and we see the Shadow, and this time we have the Demo at the bottom for standard, and we have the Ducks not doing as good in threes as well. So it is a little bit of a difference, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally know a whole lot about PL, and you can see that in my bracket, but I agree. I think that is a very likely chance.
Yeah, you mentioned the demo sitting at the cellar, 14-6. Very different than what it was in twos for them. So they have the ability to pick it up. It's just the question of will they? Will they focus on getting out of the cellar in standard? Will they focus on keeping twos a priority? That's the big question for me going down the stretch when it comes to demo.
They did decide to rely on me for that. I do not recommend that choice, but they did it. It's too late now, I hope. But let's look at my bracket. I'm assuming that's gonna be the first one we look at. And I actually have an upset. I have the Blizzard taking the whole thing. I think the Blizzard are gonna upset the Hive, upset the Rhinos. And I think the big reason I have behind it is because I think their top three it's gonna just do really well. They have not had a big series together yet, and it's gonna really show when they get to playoffs that chemistry that they will have. And I think that's gonna be the team that everyone's gonna want to beat when it's all on the line. I think they're gonna be the strongest looking roster when it comes to their top three. And I mean, they have 220 cells. 220 cells. I mean, you cannot bet against that in threes, in my opinion, at least. I don't see them losing unless it's maybe the Rhinos, who have another great roster as well. But Rhinos, I think they still just are leagues above Orange Conference at the moment. Flames will win this one for me, but Rhinos will still pull it off and get the dub.
Yeah. Again, don't know much about PL, but Rhinos I've noticed they're a very good team. And I don't know how I feel about the Blizzard taking over Rhinos there. I not completely sure about that one. But again, you're the PL master, so if you say so, I guess I'll agree.
Yeah, I know everything. That's fine. I know everything.
Up on the screen, we have your bracket there, Bear. So why don't you take us through it?
This bracket, is this my bracket?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, well. Yes.
You just
Hive Rhino. Oh, yeah. Okay. I forgot about this. All right. So Hive definitely does beat Rhinos. I know I just said Rhinos is good. I like Hive's logo, and that's what I started basing a lot of things off of. I like Blizzard's logo as well, but a lot of people don't. But that's fine. That's another controversial topic. Rhinos very good. I think they're definitely gonna make it to championship. And Hive, I don't know much about them, but again, I like their logo, so I think they'll win. That's my reasoning behind PL.
That's pretty sound reasoning right there. Wouldn't you agree, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. I'm not going to complain against it. I mean, honestly, it's more accurate than mine is probably going to be. So we'll see. I don't know. I wanted to go for a bit of a home run. I really just want to believe in the Blizzard because I picked them early on in the season. I just want to keep riding with it. But again, Hive are a great pick too. I think even though Taylor has kind of fallen off, it'll be interesting to see how that all turns out. And I'm excited to see it. I really am.
Yeah, well, let's look at my bracket. I had faith that the Blizzard would make it to the grand finals, to that championship series. However, I think that even though the Rhinos are gray, the future is red because I think red is going to take over and the Orange Conference is going to reign supreme when it comes to PL this season.
So I think we all had Rhinos in playoff or a champion series, right?
Yeah, the issue is for me, Orange Conference is just so outclassed, in my opinion, by the Rhinos right now. None of the teams that I've watched have looked good enough to beat the Rhinos starting three. I just don't.
Except the demo, of course.
Except the demo, because I'm on that team now, and I'm probably not going to be on our starting three, but why not? But I love the Rhinos. I think they're going to be really good to watch, and I'm interested to see how they do in playoffs. They have so many people they could pick from for their playoff roster. especially when it comes to twos, which I have them winning. But I am happy that we do agree on the Blizzard pick because I just think Noriko, Alfredo, and Nair are just going to look really well together. Like, I think that trio together is just going to be really deadly. And a lot more people realize it, especially in PL.
Yeah, well, I know I personally love me some Alfredo. I'll probably be having some for dinner tonight. But the player, too, is just outstanding and very good player for the Blizzard. And the only thing, though, there's so many games left to be played. We got 6 weeks left of the regular season to be played before we even get to the playoffs. There's so much action that can happen between now and then. You never know what's going to happen. This is MLE after all. So let's get through these next 6 weeks. And, I mean, hopefully our playoff brackets are close to right. That FL doubles one bear, I think, is going to be rough to get spot on, but we'll see how they eventually come back because there's so many games left to be played. Everything's going to change, and we'll ultimately all be wrong. But I can't wait to see how the end of the season goes.
So, Term, do you think that Jets aren't going to beat Jets, or I'm confused where you're confused at?
Yeah, I think that's where I hit the roadblock. Right there.
Is the
How
overtime
Jets are going to both
right?
win and lose.
Oh, well, I mean, I lose everything, and I'm on the Jets, so that's the losing part. And then the Jets win.
So you're just losing in all this, then, is what I'm hearing. You're just losing. What are you winning?
I won't. I'll put myself. I'm not gonna play myself. I'll make my other players play. That way, we win.
Fair enough.
That's fair enough.
I lose everything, I mean.
I mean, hey, if it gets the dub, it gets the dub. I mean, I'll admit when we won, we had a different lineup for our playing round versus the rest of it due to me being on my home hotspot, and it was terrible, and I almost broke my computer because I was so angry. Yeah, Term knows that, but it worked. No, we lost threes. Threes. I was ticked about that.
Sorry,
we don't talk about that, but it'll be interesting to see. Again, you said it, Term. You said it best. There's 6 weeks. There's 6 matches to go. So much could change. I mean, I doubt our brackets are even going to be possibly right because of the fact that seeding will change. If they are, we are just geniuses and we are the smartest people alive, and you have to accept that. But, that's all. That's it for us. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and thank y'all, Term and Bear, for joining me on this fine night, and the doggo as well. I mean, who doesn't love the good old doggo? But thank you guys so much for joining us. This is Open Ep presented by 8 PM Music, and we'll see y'all next week.